Hi, I'm Leslie Bruce, and I lead Cal State Fullerton's Writing Across the Curriculum Liaisons program, which offers professional development in writing and AI pedagogies. Welcome to our first Tool Talk video. These short videos are going to introduce you to new AI tools which will help with writing or teaching with writing. This first Tool Talk video is going to cover Google's tool called Notebook LM. First, let's talk about the basics of Notebook LM. Google's Notebook LM can be used by students and faculty alike to learn more about any topic they're interested in. It addresses 4 common complaints about AI tools. Those include equity. This tool is currently free. I hope it stays free. Privacy. On Google's web pages and in all of their promotional materials, they are emphasizing that they do not use any of the data collected to train new AI models. This tool is grounded. It's a RAG-style tool, that's Retrieval Augmented Generation. So this chatbot can only answer questions based on materials that you give it. This means that you're going to get fewer hallucinations and greater accuracy as you ask questions about the materials that you have uploaded. It has a huge context window. You can upload almost 25 million words. It's about 50 documents that can include videos, slides, PDFs, and other kinds of documents. It's not perfect. There are some weaknesses. I find that it oversimplifies when you ask it questions, and it is because it can't think like a person, it is unable to synthesize. So unless 2 sources have similar words and ideas in them, it's going to have a hard time understanding how 2 things might go together. But to my mind, that these give us critical thinking and teaching opportunities. And now we can get into a demonstration. This will just be first impressions because I honestly believe that the best way to learn how to use these tools is by actually using them. But I do want to introduce you to the tool so you know it exists and what it can do. All right, so the first thing you want to do is go to notebooklm.google. You'll come to this page and you'll go ahead and click on Try Notebook LM. And you can see that it recognizes me as a Google user. You can also set it up so it recognizes you from Cal State Fullerton. You can see that I've already created some notebooks, and I've created an untitled notebook and then this one for our workshop today. I'm going to click on Create New because that's probably what some of you will be doing, and so that you can see this page. This is great. This is where you upload sources. You can drag and drop or choose files from your desktop. You can add Google Docs, Google Slides, a website URL, a YouTube video as long as it is caption enabled, and copy text. If you want to copy and paste something into a text and give it that, it will work with that. You can also see that the source limit is 50 sources. So you could upload all kinds of documents about something you want to learn about, or your students can. But for this instance, I'm not going to give it anything because I want to show you what happens when you don't give Notebook LM any sources. So you can see here, this is where your sources will show up after you add them, but there are none here. So when I try to ask a question, I'm clicking on the question, I'm typing, and nothing is showing up. It won't even let you ask questions until you upload sources. So I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to come to my AI Ethics and Integrity sample notebook. So over here on the left, you'll see that I've uploaded many sources. I'm going to delete this one quickly, and then I'll re-add it so that you can see how you add. So you just click the plus, and this is going to be a URL. So I'll click on website. I'll go grab that URL, and then I will come back to this page, paste it, and insert it. And then you can see it's adding it, and then there it is, 5 tips for addressing AI in your academic integrity code. So now it's got that. Now we talked a little bit about a grounded model, retrieval augmented generation in the beginning, which means that the system is only looking at the sources that you give it to answer questions. So let's ask a totally unrelated question and see what happens. Please explain how to solve a differential equation. And we'll see what it says. So it's thinking. Now I've already asked it this question a couple times while I was getting ready for this video, so now it's giving quite a lot of information. The sources provided are focusing on AI. They do not contain information on solving differential equations. To learn about that, maybe you look at math textbooks, online courses, math software, right? And so it just comes right out and says, I'm sorry, I can't answer those questions because you didn't give me any information. However, it can answer questions about these sources. So let's ask a question like, can you suggest ways to update my academic integrity policy that asks students to use AI transparently? And now I'm going to ask it to generate. Okay, so I had to press pause because it took about 10 seconds. It generated this answer for me using these sources that I gave it. So let's take that back. So it gave ideas like provide training and support, embrace the evolving nature of AI, emphasize transparency in education, shift focus from policing to growth-oriented assessments. So these ideas all came from these articles. How do I know that? Because when I hover over one of these numbers, you get information about exactly where the tool found this information. So this, if I hover on number 1, there's no hard and fast rules, clear citation expectations, transparency in education, and so on. So all of these ideas came from different sources. Avoid making sweeping generalizations about AI, be open to feedback, shift your focus. So that's really handy for students, right? If they've been looking at a lot of sources and they've forgotten where something came from, they can even ask this tool, I remember something about X. Can you please tell me where I find X? And this system can help them find it. I think that's pretty exciting. Also, this system doesn't save your chats. So if you found this useful, what you would want to do is click on Save to Note, and it will add a note. It will add exactly that text for your note. If you want to do more, this is great. If you click on this notebook guide, something good pops up. So this is going to be really handy for students and for anybody who writes or thinks and presents. It gives you some suggested questions. What ethical implications are there for the use of generative AI in education, research, and society? And 2 others. I find that these questions help me come up with my own questions, right? Because some of them aren't, they're not just suited for my experience level. So I come up with different questions because I read these. So they're helping me think. It will also give you the option to create frequently asked questions, a study guide, right? So if your students have, say, 6 articles about a topic that's coming up on a test, they can put all 6 of them in here and say, make a study guide, help me study. A table of contents, a briefing doc, a timeline, and of course it gives you a summary saying what's in this notebook. It's very general. And then what people are getting really excited about is this audio overview. If I click on this, what will happen is this tool will look at all the contents of this and make up a podcast with 2 AI hosts, 2 AI voices, 1 male, 1 female. And they're okay. They're kind of fun. They're usually kind of general. However, what I think they'd be really useful for is if, let's say your student is new to a topic and they have to read some scientific articles about this really complex topic and they're just having a hard time. If they can put some articles into this notebook and say, make a podcast about this, then they can listen to that while they walk the dog, while they're making dinner, while they're driving to school, and get a general sense of this topic before they try to jump into those journal articles. I find that really exciting. So now I'm going to go ahead and load that podcast and share it with you when it's ready. Okay, so that took a few minutes to generate, but now I've got it. I'm just going to play a few seconds of it so that you have a sense of what these sound like.
Before we kind of get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
And just make sure that everyone listening is clear.
Yeah, the basics.
What exactly ChatGPT is.
Yeah, for those of us, myself included, who aren't
Right.
computer science whizzes.
Yeah.
Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, imagine a chatbot,
Okay.
but one that's been trained on this massive, I mean, truly massive.
Amount of text data? We're talking like the entire internet.
What?
So now you know what these sound like. Once you've played the whole thing, another button will come up that will allow you to regenerate the podcast, and a little button called Customize will pop up, and you can actually write, it'll give you a little text window, and you can say, well, that was pretty good, but I wish that they had talked more about Stanford's report. Can you regenerate and talk more about Stanford's report? So you can customize it a little bit, and I think that will be really handy for your students too. So I've shown you what you can do on this tool. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint so I can show you what other sources I'm providing for you. So with this video, I'm going to post these slides, and of course the links won't be active right away, so I will provide these links. These are just ways to learn more about Notebook LM. The first that I would recommend is the New York Times Hard Fork podcast, which is also streamed on YouTube. And this episode includes an interview with Steven Johnson, who is a really famous writer, writes about everything. He's just curious about everything. And Google actually hired him to help create this tool so that it would be useful for writers. So I think that's a very good place to start. This Everyday AI episode, which is also on YouTube, shows you for about 55 minutes how to use this tool with more detail than this video will. There's also 8 tips for using Notebook LM. These are based on an interview with Steven Johnson. He's basically telling you how he uses it as a writer. And then finally, just to get signed up, this is the link to go and get signed up for Notebook LM. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next Tool Talk.